Okay. Hey guys, I'm here with Tim McCoy. Tim McCoy is a friend, colleague, fellow educator. We work here in the Austin area, and we were just doing some work inside our subscription service. I wanted to talk to you guys about that briefly while I rearranged the sheets. We made a mess shooting that live stream. So we have a free trial right now in my subscription service. The subscription service, I totaled it up the other day. We actually have 385 hours of my live trainings, including stuff with Tim, other educators, group classes, private trainings. What we just did was a live stream in our private group to answer people's questions. I'm really trying to harpoon interactive online education. We have a free trial right now. Likely below this video there is a link. If you go to rgwellness.store, you'll see that the Reboot Insiders Club, it is free for your first month. It is absolutely free to get access to our private Facebook group and access to that vault of continuing education information. I wanted to work with Tim a little bit today and introduce you to Tim. He's been on some of the videos on our YouTube channel, but I wanted to work with him a bit today. And then Tim, did you want to work on me just to demonstrate some things, or is there something in particular you'd like to share with like a broader audience? Because before we were in the private group, now it's more just, you know.
One of the things that we were talking about was the difference between the table and the mat, and it was something that was on the Facebook group. You have primarily been working on the mat almost your whole career.
Yeah.
And I've been doing mat work for probably around 8 years now.
Mm-hmm.
I think probably around 8 years now. That's been half. That's been half of my massage career. So I've been really able to blend both of them in almost seamlessly. Sometimes I do both mat work and table work in one session. Sometimes 1 week is full of mat. Sometimes the other's full of table. So just the interaction and the things that are common and not common between the mat and the table were very interesting, and how people are blending them together.
Yeah.
That was one of the things that, talking in the private group, that was one of the things that was just really sticking in my head. You don't have to be, it doesn't have to be one or the other. I think integrating moves that you've learned on the table are great for the mat, and sometimes vice versa, mat and table. So that was one of the things. But yeah, I'd be more than happy to work on anything.
Is there something in particular that you wanted to demonstrate?
We were working on the neck. We can go back to that.
Oh, I'll never fight neck work. I'll never fight neck work. So what position did you want me in?
The position that, one of the positions that I was thinking about was actually the sideline position. What we were just talking about. A lot of people don't work in sideline position. Working on sideline on the mat has really opened me up to working sideline on the table.
Yeah.
And I think it's done a wonder for clients. Clients are asking, coming back for, can we do the neck thing we do on the side?
Yeah.
They're asking for that specifically. So we can kind of do that, and so I'll just kind of go.
My left side?
Yeah.
That's where usually I have a little more discomfort there.
So kind of going into what, blending in the three questions, that we kind of had, I guess, before. Somebody was asking about position-wise, if they have to change position, or what's the best position to be in if their knees are hurting. Somebody asked about working on the neck on the mat as well too. So I just kind of blend both of those together. This is the position that I like to be in most of the time on the mat. Some kind of version of this lunge. For me, I have a solid base for somebody to sit up against. Man or woman, people find this comforting to be. It's almost like having your dog right next to you when you're sleeping. Your dog's just very comforting. And what this does, it gives me a wide range. I can do traction with Robert's shoulder. He instantly closes his eyes when I'm just leaning. I'm not really using my arm to pull him. It's more of locking my hand to his forearm down to his hip. And I'm just giving him a little, I'm just leaning a little bit. And it's just a light stretch. And if I want a little bit more, I can go right by his occipitals here. How's that? Is that okay? Mm-hmm. Real easy. If I want to switch focus and have more of the focus be on his occipitals, I have my arm really close to my body here. I'm still stable, and I can just go downwards just a little bit. How's that? Is that okay? Mm-hmm. All right. And some people really like really hard work, and you can keep on going here. As time passes, I'm slowly sinking. I'm sinking with his body. And again, I'm just going to move. I'm going to move his arm just a little bit. I'm going to move his arm behind him a little bit. And that's just going to give him a little different angle, a little bit more range that I can pull him with.
Christine Hopkins, Kiosa says, I started putting clients in sideline to access their neck after watching one of Robert's videos. Yeah. You get to the neck so much easier than in a prone position. So many people, their neck disappears.
Man.
Yeah. This is really good. I mean, it's open here, and I said before, in this position, the trap's very loose. When you're in a prone position or a supine position, the shoulder girdle spread, and there's tightness here. This just feels like it's loose already, so it's instant. And from this position, I can just one little turn, and I can do some pressure right here. My elbows against my knee, and all the pressure is coming from my knee, right there through his arm. Very easy, very simple. Sometimes it's the simple stuff that really gets people. And if I have a little bit too much flex here in my wrist, I switch to my fist right here, and I can use my knuckles. So now everything is straight through here, and it's just a lean. How is that? It's a little more sharp. Good.
I mean, it's more pointed, but it feels great.
Good. Go here just like this. I can use my thumb if I want to.
Ooh.
Yeah, a little
that
bit
was
more.
tender.
Yeah. Go right here. Sometimes I slide down like this. It's a little different. Now I can get under the shoulder blade, and now the movement's coming from my knee still. It's very easy. My thumb's just finding little pieces between the spine and his shoulder blade. Very easy. Just like this. If I want, I can use my whole body against him. Now I'm just kind of in a squat now. And I can still move down. I can move my knee just like this. When I first started working with Robert, I think this was the main difference, is my technique was always slow, but now I just hang out. I'm making it a campsite. I might shift a little bit, but really just listening for their breath, feeling their breath, waiting for those, and then I can go. I think this is the quietest I've ever heard Robert before.
Someone tell me to shut up.
And then, so he's kind of closed up here, so what I'll do is I'll just bring him back here. And I want to get to the occipitals a little bit more, but this angle is just kind of locked up. So I'm just going to grab him and just slowly tilt his head in, just like this. Now I'm opened up here. Robert likes to do the knee, and you can do the knee through here if you want to. This is how I do it, right through here. Still in a kind of a lunge position, modified lunge maybe. You all right? Mm-hmm. Good. I can stay in this position for a while. And then I'm just gonna, before I move my knee, I'm gonna put some pressure here and then replace it. And then go. Alright. Robert, will you turn your palm behind you? Behind you, facing your back. The opposite side. Yeah, there we go. Just like that.
Do you want me to move the arm
Yeah,
too?
now just wiggle your fingers. Keep your arm there just like that. There you go. Now wiggle your fingers. Yeah, magic trick. There we go. You can see all the muscles moving, but you can also feel it moving way down here. So keep your arm down there and act like you're grabbing some dirt, a big handful of dirt. Yeah, there we go. Just like that. Awesome. So that's an easy neck work. The knee move that you showed this to me during a Thai jam, and I was blown away by this.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, why didn't I think of this earlier?
Yeah.
My clients love it. I have clients that break my fist every time I try to work on them on the table without doing this, and I've totally switched to moving to the side lying on the table and on the mat with them.
Christine says, if you were doing this on a table, what tool would you use for this position to get to the occipitals?
I like to use my elbow actually, and on the table I will use oil, and it allows me to actually slide in from the top of the shoulder down the traps and into the occipitals in a very controlled manner. With my table, when I'm using the table, my table is very high. Most therapists are astounded that my table is so high. It's more like a lomi practitioner or something like that. But I use my table a lot, and that allows me to get in there and in a comfortable position and compress the occipital muscles. But I usually generally use my elbow, or sometimes if I'm standing, I will get behind them and I use my thumb, kind of like this motion.
Forearm and elbow is what I use the most in this position.
In the occipitals, or do you use it in the traps more?
Well, both. If I'm going for the trap, it's more often the knee. But if I'm going for something more specific like the occipitals, it's often my forearm and elbow. In this position, at least.
Yeah. The elbow seems kind of sharp. If
at first,
you've done it before,
yeah.
It looks kind of intense.
You build up to it.
Yes, but it's something that is very slow. And again, I'm always listening to the person's breath. That always will key you in. If they're holding their breath or something like that, then usually, there's some tension somewhere. So this is easy. I can stay in this position all day long. The lunge position, my arm right next to my knee. This is no work at all. All right, man. What do you think?
It's great. It's hard to explain. Like if you took my arm, like if you were just down below me, Tim. I'll let you get to that in a second. Like
Okay.
the thing is, because we'll always go back to compression. But if you just traction my arm down that way, it's like it pulls through my arm, but it pulls through my shoulder, my trap. I start to feel it in my neck. If you start to let traction and then like kind of sway me back behind, like I start to get pulled through all this levator stuff, like up into my neck. In addition to the fact that he just randomly just put his foot right on my adductors. Like there's so much that you're doing that it just looks like, well, he's just working on my arm. And it's like, no. But it's pulling through all of that. That's one of the things that I find so interesting is I think visually people look at where we're making contact, but where we're making contact is sometimes distal to where we're working. It's like all this, like opens up pec minor, opens the chest. It seems really subtle, and even like the jostle. Maybe my shoulder gets to the point where it doesn't want to open up, but the little jostle, my body's like, oh no, it's fine, it's safe. Because it's not extreme, it's just that light mobilization we were talking about earlier. Instead of an extreme stretch. Like the compression, it's like the stuff I had shown earlier in the live stream, it's much more intense. It's much more like compressive force when we need something real specific. But I think some people will kind of gloss over what they think of as like a simple, rudimentary mobilization. It's not as fancy for social media. It's not extreme.
Is sometimes the best.
Yeah.
You know, and the most elegant thing. Was there something else that you wanted to see?
No,
position?
No. I just wanted to show, because sometimes people will bypass, like the compressions I use, even though they're really deep, I don't normally start with those. A lot of times I'll start with that light traction and pull, or I'm grabbing the shoulder and like jostling all of this because of all the attachments of levator scapula and the trapezius that go up into the neck. Those are more superficial than the deep like muscles in the cervical spine.
And even here, you know.
Yeah.
You're
Oh, dude, this
right
feels
here on the
gold.
back, you know,
Yeah.
it's already opened up the, you know, without having to lift the scapula up like some people don't like to do. This is in a natural position. He's already rolled over. You know, somebody that has a, you know, their shoulders already rolled over, they still like to have this worked on. It's still sore, and so this is a very good way to do that without having to go underneath the scapula sometimes. And again, it's really easy. This is just very simple thumb pressure, and I'm just skimming down. You can see his elbow lifting up. This is just really easy. I can use the back of my fist even to do this, and it just sinks right there.
It's gold, man.
I mean,
and the pressure's not extreme. Like, I'm rolled forward. You wouldn't want to use like deep compression because my shoulder blade's so far forward, and like it would be kind of putting my shoulder bladed spine in a weird position. But when you do this, I feel all this stuff in my upper back because of the length and the rhomboids, and then just the movement of the shoulder blade. I think it's why I like side lying so much, because you said it puts it in neutral.
Yes.
Like it feels like the traps are just completely
it's neutral. There's you know, there's less of gravity to affect it. It's not between two spread points.
Yeah.
You know, the points are on top of each other.
Yeah.
Instead of your neck and your shoulder out here and it spreads out. That's how I've always viewed it.
Yeah, compressive force, I think when people are only putting people in supine, it's like, how do they deliver pressure? It becomes all these little guys.
Right. And it really should be lateral. If you're working with somebody in the supine and the prone position, and you can only go down so deep. I mean, if I go down a finger's width, I'm I'm pressing into your organ, so you're not really going that deep. It's all about moving lateral sometimes and just shifting it over, and that's something that my mentor told me, and I really didn't get it until years later. So and again, which is another reason why I have my table up very high. I don't need to lower the table all the way down to my knees. I'm not a chiropractor, to get that pressure. It comes from my hips and moving sideways, which is probably, it's a martial arts probably a principle you learn in football, to move with the hips. And
sometimes if people are looking at in workbooks, it's just a single photo. It doesn't really give nuance unless I'm using text.
What is that?
What is that?
Oh, it's 150.
Oh, does it mean the time's up?
Yeah, it's just, yeah.
Oh, okay. So, Tim, I'm going to put a link down below some of the videos you're in. I still haven't done that, to go in and put your links down below so people can find you. Can you give them a little bit of information of where they can find you?
Yes. If you're here in Austin, I'm in South Austin. But you can look me up online, Facebook, Instagram, all Defuse Therapy, defuse-therapy.tech if you're looking for my website, and Defuse Therapy if you're looking for Facebook and Instagram. You can email me, direct message me, anything you like.
Cool.
Awesome to hear from everybody.
Yeah. So we'll see you guys again soon. I just want to go live. And again, the subscription service, tons of information. There's 385 hours of my class recordings and trainings. That subscription service is currently free for your first month. Go ahead and grab the link. Go ahead and click on that and sign up. I'll see you guys again soon. And thank you to Tim McCoy for coming out and working with me today. Yeah.